Tuesday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Vaccination sites in the city of Manila say goodbye to long queues as of this morning on the first day of the re-implementation of the appointment system. Justine Punsalang reports.
After weeks of implementing first-come, first-served basis in the different vaccination sites in the city of Manila, the LGU last night announced that they will be adapting the by-schedule vaccination. This is after the inoculation sites were flocked by people exceeding the target number of vaccines per day, causing alarm of contracted COVID-19 while in line for the jab. Long queue and lack of physical distancing has been the scenario at many vaccination sites in Manila for the past weeks since the LGU implemented the first-come, first-served basis. But this morning, there is hardly anybody waiting along the covered walkway of Lucky Chinatown Mall that is usually flocked by people waiting to be vaccinated. This is because the Manila LGU shifted to by-schedule vaccination, meaning no walk-ins will be allowed. Instead, a vaccinee will receive a text message from the Manila COVAX containing the date of his or her inoculation. But the LGU reminds Manileños that they should show the original text message at the entrance and not just a screenshot. This change in the vaccination system raised different reactions. Some were not happy because they apparently were not informed about the no walk-in policy. They said they lined up as early as 2:30 in the morning only to be informed later on that their QR code as proof of registration is not enough to get the jab. Others, meanwhile, were happy with the change. They said with the no walk-in policy, they no longer fear contracting the virus while lining up because only those with schedules will be there. Some are still taking their chances despite not having the schedule for today of the vaccination. They said they are hoping that there will be extra vaccines that will be given to them. Nevertheless, the police and the employees of the Manila Health Department are standing guard. They are telling those without a schedule to leave in order to avoid crowding in the vaccination area. For News 5, Justine Punsalang. We are One News.
The government is eyeing to scrap the current quarantine classifications, but only once the country achieves herd immunity. That's according to DILG Undersecretary Epimako Dinsing, who said that this matter has been partially discussed by the government, but has yet to be raised to the IATF. Dinsing added that LGUs will need to strengthen their contact tracing and healthcare capacities first before the removal of quarantine classifications take place.
Mangyayari po yan pag na-reach na po natin yung tinatawag nating population protection or herd immunity dahil sa patuloy nating pagbabakuna. So yan po yung napag-usapan na partially ng iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno sa aming sub-technical working group. Pero hindi pa ito umaabot sa level ng IATF. Mangyayari po ito in the future siguro pag preparado na yung ating mga lokal na gobyerno in terms of sarili nilang contact tracing strategies, yung pagpalo-localize ng PDITR strategies ng gobyerno, kaya na nilang panindigan yung kanilang healthcare capacity.
COVID-19 variants have been threatening a possible resurgence of infections even in vaccinated populations. But Johns Hopkins University says there's no need for booster shots just yet. Let's watch this.
Given all of the positive results that are coming from the vaccination campaign, not only the fact that safety signatures are really coming through incredibly strong, but also the efficacy of the vaccine, and in particular the efficacy against variant viruses, maintains a very high level. So this vaccine looks really, really good. It continues to look good with all of the studies that have been done since it's rolled out. So it's a little bit of a head scratcher as to why there isn't a more broader acceptance of this vaccine, because there really isn't anything about it that would cause that should cause any hesitancy for people.
I wonder about the Delta variant and how much of a concern that is, because the Brits are pretty well vaccinated as well, and they're seeing what looks like another wave of infections.
Yeah, the critical thing about that is it looks like fully vaccinated people. So if you're talking about the mRNA vaccine, people who've gotten the second dose and are 2 or 3 weeks out from the second dose, those individuals seem to have a good response that protects against the Delta variant. Remember, the UK took a different strategy. They tried to immunize everybody with a single dose initially to get broader immunity. And the Delta variant is showing us that that broader immunity is not necessarily enough to protect against it. You need the double dose immunity, the stronger immunity from a full vaccination course to really protect against that virus. So if you stick to the 2-course vaccine that we're doing here in the U.S., we should be able to provide really good protection against the Delta variant.
Andy, what's the latest on boosters, whether we need them?
So far, everything looks good. You may see some piles of plates behind me here. We're looking at people who've been vaccinated 6 months ago, trying to measure their antibody responses and how they're declining over time. All the studies so far look good, and because this fully vaccinated regimen provides protection against variants, I don't think there's a big emphasis yet on trying to push a booster through. What would drive that is if we see a really new variant that is evading that full vaccination immune response, or if we really notice that 12, 14 months after vaccination, you see a really significant waning of your immune response. But neither of those things have really come to the light yet.
A barangay in Davao de Oro is under a state of calamity after a diarrhea outbreak in the area claimed the lives of at least 5 residents. Gemma Vancenio with the story.
Residents of Barangay Pasian in Moncayo, Davao de Oro had to fetch water from a tanker. Their supply was cut off as authorities investigate the area following diarrhea outbreak. At least 5 residents have died while more than 200 residents got sick. Last Friday, many were brought to the barangay covered court to be treated by doctors and nurses. Almost all of them experienced abdominal pain, nausea, and loose bowel movement.
Dugo ko diyan.
Kumukulo yung tiyan ko, masakit. Tapos nagtatai ako. Kagabi, bumalik na naman kaya humingi na ako ng gamot.
Maayos na yung tiyan namin ngayon. Humingi ako ng gamot sa barangay. Noong nakaraang araw, nagtatai kami.
A 99-year-old resident was among those who died in the hospital due to dehydration.
Nagkaroon siya ng LVM, 3 days yata yun. Pinainom namin ng gamot, pero hindi na raw niya talaga kaya. Kaya dinala na namin siya sa Monte Vista Hospital.
Pasian's barangay chairman said they are looking whether the water supply in the area is contaminated. She noted that the situation became worse due to some residents refusing to get treated in fear of COVID-19.
Yung mga BHW natin nag-house to house. Doon na-discover namin na marami pa palang pasyente sa mga bahay-bahay. Kasi takot silang pumunta sa center dahil baka daw ma-charge sila ng COVID.
The municipal government declared state of calamity in Barangay Pasian. Health workers are closely monitoring patients as the investigation and sanitation continue. For News 5, Gemma Vancenio, we are One News.
Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas or SBP has urged for unity after a Facebook account misrepresented Gilas Pilipinas during the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. SBP disowned the account, calling the post malicious and saying that it was no way related to SBP. They maintain that SBP will continue to work with the PBA for the good of Philippine basketball, and the SBP is also looking into available legal remedies. The group also praised Gilas Pilipinas and said that unity is the message that the team will continue to convey. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us later at 12 noon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.